I'm Sarah Everhart. I am a Senior People Analytics Analyst at Trane Technologies. At Trane Technologies, we have about 40,000 employees globally. Trane Technologies is actually a newish company, even though we are kind of old. We have been around for over 100 years, but we actually rebranded as Trane Technologies back in 2020. We had an industrial business that we spun off. We are formerly Ingersoll Rand, but now we are a pure climate company, sustainability focused, and we are primarily in the HVAC and transportation spaces. Being a large industrial manufacturing company, our employees are spread out all over the globe. So having Visier lets us put the data in the hands of the HR partners and the business leaders who are doing the work. Our team, we handle the overarching, larger questions for the enterprise, and we deliver the bigger reports. But once we get into the business unit levels, we put the trust and control of that reporting into the hands of the experts who know the business line. They know their own data. We have what I call my little Visier super users across the company who prepare their own reports and work with their business leaders, and then they just come and ask us questions when they need help. And how I support that is I actually run a monthly user group office hours. So the first 15 minutes or so, I'll explain like some new feature that's come from Visier. I'll pull up the release notes and just kind of go through it all. So our primary Visier users, of course, are our HR partners and our HR professionals in the organization, but we will actually give access to anyone in the company that would like access. We give them what we call an Outlook-only view. So who they report to, where they work, the flattened leadership hierarchy, because our leaders are very focused on who is in their organization. So this is the one place where that makes it easy for people to see, because in the details, they'll get level 1 all the way down from the employee all the way up to the CEO. They can get all those levels in between. So it lets them do those cuts and slices in that full hierarchy that they're looking for. And this is like the only system that they can actually access that, because PeopleSoft doesn't really do that super well. So it's a great way to get that information into those hands very easily. In addition to HR, other top population is actually finance. So as you know, finance counts people in a very different way. So we also have the finance hierarchy in addition to our PeopleSoft hierarchy in Visier. Our finance partners actually use it to do that bridging between the two headcounts, so they can kind of understand the differences between how they look at the world versus HR and vice versa. And it also makes sure that our HR partners are not just spending a lot of time just giving headcount reports to finance and back and forth. So it frees up the time to do other reporting. My other group that I really like to enable with Visier Access is our executive assistants. They're helping our leaders put on the town halls, so they need distribution lists and things. HR partners don't really need to be constantly every quarter producing those updated lists. So we enable our EAs to go in and get that information themselves, and it's been really, really successful and helpful. Excited for the possibilities of how I can do more with less resources. I want to do it myself kind of person. So having that ability to experiment with pulling in my own data and configuring my own metrics and things like that, I'd rather do it myself than have to wait on other people, because then I can move faster and get to those solutions a lot quicker and start moving to the next thing, because change is happening faster and faster and faster, and I'm not a big fan of change, but I get through it. But this is a way to enable speed in that rapid change. Visibility, speed, and ownership, because you really feel like you own the data that's in Visier, because you can kind of see it for yourself. I think that's like the biggest thing and then you can do it more quickly, because sometimes for us being on East Coast, a lot of the Visier support and change teams are on West Coast. So we automatically have that delay of overlap of working hours that we have to deal with. With Extend, I see us potentially pulling in more data for our compensation teams, because right now the only thing that we're putting in there is budgeted base pay, but there's more to compensation than just base pay. We have sales folks that are on various compensation plans, so we actually have a lot of different categories for various compensation structures and percentages and things like that. And then of course there's other incentive plans that some of our salary employees participate in. Right now we're not sending which plans those are into the Visier system, so that would be the one thing that I would want to experiment with. Can we pull that in? What does that look like in Visier? Then how can we create that total rewards number that's currently not available to our HR partners in Visier? Because I also do our regular reporting out of PeopleSoft, so I get requests to create a query that will pull all these incentive, all the compensation pieces. So if we had that in Visier, folks could self-service that a lot easier, and it would free me up to do some of those other things that I need to do for the organization. Because the more I can enable self-service, the more I can focus on the other projects that I need to for the company. So to those who may be considering our Visier People Extend, it's really about what you need to enable for your organization. So if you just want to add one thing that's part of one of the modules that you don't necessarily want to do a full investment, but this lets you have that flexibility to onboard the things that you want to use or that you need to use, or if it's a very specialized data set to your line of business that somebody wants to add, you can do that. Another use case that had come to my mind is we have all these early talent programs that we want to track performance of over time. Right now, they're on Excel spreadsheets and lists. And one of the things that I was thinking that I could do with Extend is I could take that Excel list and do it as a one-time load and say, this person participated in this cohort at this time, and now we can report on them in a group. Whereas before, I have to go in and click every single name and create a custom key group in the system, and then I have to share it with someone, and then we have to remember who owns it, and there's a lot of logistics to that. But with the Visier People Extend, you can create those quickly, and it's now in the tenant, and it's not controlled by a user owning that content. It's owned in the core, which I think is more powerful, and you can do more with it at that point.